Thomas Hobbes, a 16th century English philosopher, scientist, and historian, introduced the concept of the state as an entity whose authority is justified to provide security to a community. Hobbes claims war is natural to humans and a state is needed to create political order. In the state of nature, according to Hobbes, people lived in unlimited liberty but in total chaos. They were willing to give up some of this liberty in order to receive security, protection, and to live in peace. The social contract. So we have an agreed social contract and a ruler of a society. This forms a state. Today, most of countries in the world are governed by some form of state rule. The state is considered to hold a monopoly on the legitimate use of force. It is this very control that prevents anarchy and enforces law and protects citizens from internal and external threats. This deters private entities from violence, hence creating a stable atmosphere in which a society can thrive. However, the state's function of providing protection can be understood as a double-edged sword. It has the potential to offer safeguard but can also be a wellspring of violence. Non-state actors could provide security through community-based policing or private security, but the effectiveness of these alternatives can be questioned, from the distribution of safety according to wealth to the vigilante risk and rival armed faction that can undermine stability. Having the right security policies under an effective leader of a state is also crucial. One example, Andrea Manuel Lopez Obrador, or AMLO, became Mexico's president in December 2018. Many hoped for a stronger rule of law to control the high drug-related crime rate in the country. AMLO launched new policies to make peace with the drug cartels. Hugs and not bullets, he said. Unfortunately, his policies backfired and crime rates increased 3.6% a year after his rule. His first year as president was Mexico's most violent on record, with an increase in serious crimes such as murders and kidnapping. Public goods such as roads, schools, healthcare, and defense are generally non-excludable and non-rivalrous. Due to these characteristics, private markets have little incentive to provide such goods. The state thus intervenes to finance and regulate such resources to make them available to all. Private firms, non-profits, and public-private partnerships can provide certain public goods, particularly where obvious incentive for profit or community interest exists, such as toll roads and private schools. The role of states in ensuring equal and broad access to the most essential public good would remain. Excluding state involvement and relying exclusively on non-state providers would, however, lead to inequalities in access, since the ability to people to access goods would depend on people's resources or locations. Garrett Hardin described the tragedy of commons as a situation where many individuals acting in their own self-interest deplete a shared resource. The state prevents overexploitation through regulation as it enforces quotas and licenses on usage and conservation laws, mechanisms that ensure resources are kept sustainable. Eleanor Ostrom, a political scientist and the first woman Nobel Prize winner for economics, has addressed community-based resource management by showing that under specific conditions, some communities could successfully self-manage their common pool resources with no state interference. Eleanor traveled the world and found people had developed many ways to self-manage common properties effectively for generations. One of Eleanor's examples was the governing of alpine commons by communities who managed their private lands by farming for centuries sustainably. While community-led solutions can prove their worth in certain aspects, the state often provides that necessary role when overseeing large-scale transboundary resources, for example, air and ocean, that require coordination and enforceable regulation. So, in conclusion, in most cases, state effectiveness to control violence, provide public goods, and managing resources outshines any current alternatives. Some community based approaches to these issues might work effectively in a smaller community, but scaling up these policies to a nationwide application might be complicated without the state's executive and legislative involvement. That said, when communities, market, and NGOs work together with the state, hybrid approaches may provide innovative and sustainable solutions by fusing the capabilities of both state and non state actors. Thank you.